Good morning. I am wishing you and the people you love and our neighbors here in the US and around the globe safety and connection today and every day. I hope your coffee is hot, your tea is just right. My name is Grover. This is Thursday, November 7th, and this is Grover Reads the News. Would you like to hear a news update? Today we have news about the US election, global conflicts, US vaccine politics, and marmosets. And with that, let's read the news. To start, we have an update on elections in the United States. Donald Trump has been declared the winner of the 2024 presidential election with 295 electoral votes currently declared by the Washington Post. He is also on track to win a majority of the popular vote, which a Republican candidate has not done for 20 years. The swing states of Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia were all called for the Republican candidate. Arizona and Nevada's results are still not known as of 7 a.m. Thursday. Wednesday afternoon, Vice President Kamala Harris gave a concession speech acknowledging many Americans' fears. She said, "I know many people feel like we are entering a dark time, but for the benefit of all of us, I hope that this is not the case," she said as she neared the end of her remarks. "But here's the thing, America. If it is, let us fill the sky with the light of billions of stars, the light of optimism and faith, of truth and service." Her speech urged supporters to roll up our sleeves. She said, "This is a time to organize, to mobilize, and to stay engaged for the sake of freedom and justice and the future of what we can build together." Republicans have won a majority of seats in the Senate. It is still unknown which party will have a majority in the House of Representatives. Republicans are defending their narrowest House majority in decades, and Democrats only need to flip a handful to take back control of the House. Many of those districts are concentrated in California and New York. It could take days to know clear decisions out of states like California, where counting votes often takes up to a week. The Washington Post reports that the turnout for this election was the second highest in the past century, only behind the 2020 turnout. This is an update on global conflicts involving Russia, North Korea, Ukraine, and nuclear weapons. An estimated 10,000 North Korean troops have been sent to Russia for military training, and a small number of North Korean troops are already engaged in battle with Ukraine, CNN reported on Tuesday. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said that we are seeing North Korean troops outfitted with Russian uniforms and provided with Russian equipment. South Korean Defense Minister said North Korea is very likely to ask Moscow for advanced technology related to nuclear weapons in exchange for deploying troops to help Russia in its war against Ukraine. This arrangement would mirror one Russia has with Iran, in which Moscow has been sharing technology on nuclear issues with Tehran in exchange for weapons and military support for the war in Ukraine, the White House said in September. I, Grover, will note that the United States holds the second highest number of nuclear weapons in the world, only behind Russia. This article summarizes reporting from Natasha Bertrand at CNN and Ilya Novikov at the Associated Press. This is an update about COVID vaccines and politics. An Idaho Board of Health that covers a 6-county region voted to ban COVID vaccine administration from their Board of Health, which is mostly utilized by people who don't have health insurance, reports Danny Blum with the New York Times. Public health experts worry that the decision could further undermine trust in public health institutions in Idaho and around the country. Vaccine hesitancy and misinformation has slowed the COVID vaccine administration since they were first rolled out, but doctors say that a new wave of pushback against the vaccines appears to have gained even more momentum recently. This week, Donald Trump suggested that he may be open to banning some vaccines if he wins the election, which he did, and said he would discuss the idea with Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a prominent vaccine critic. Last week, Senator J.D. Vance voiced concerns about COVID vaccine side effects on an episode of the Joe Rogan Experience. This is an update about marmosets and communication. Scientists have released research documenting that marmosets can call each other by name and know when they're being addressed, joining a very short list of species documenting such behavior, and the first for non-human primates. The monkeys use specific calls, known as fee calls, to call each other, which is a behavior previously only observed in humans, dolphins, and elephants. Researchers say the experiment was simple. They blocked the visual field between two marmosets and recorded their dialogue. They recorded natural conversations between pairs of marmosets, as well as interactions with a computer system, which led them to conclude that the marmosets addressed specific individual marmosets and were able to discern when they were being called and responded more accurately in the instances that they were called by other marmosets. This summary was sourced from Leanne Colrin at CNN. Thank you for joining me to read the news today. If you, like me, worry about what the outcome of this election will mean for a livable planet for our generation, our children, and their children, if you care about human rights, including the right to decide what to do with our own bodies, racial justice, the well-being of children, and an end to violence and war, please know that your fears are shared. We don't have to face it alone. Let's do it together. Until next week, be well.